Hey everybody, this is Cameron from Obnoxious and Anonymous, and welcome to the Twin Peaks Thought of the Day for Tuesday, January 2nd, 2018. My guest today is Frank. How's it going?
Doing good, Cam. How's yourself?
Oh, doing great, doing great. I gotta say this little setup we have going tonight is it's a little different because lately we've been having tons of guests, tons of people like joining us. So it seems kind of strange to go back to the one-on-one kind of video here. But no, it's great to have you here. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Guess what I got in the mail today? This was sent to me by a dear friend. I had I do have a copy of this already, just on just a single DVD, but I didn't have one with cover art, and that type of thing. But so I got sent this as a Christmas gift, late Christmas gift, I should say, and that is the documentary "Despite the Gods" with Jennifer Lynch about her.
Oh, I've heard some great things about that. It's supposed to be brilliant.
It is. In fact, Jennifer Lynch says that Sherilyn Fenn tells her that when she went to India to make the movie Hiss,
That's right. Yeah.
did not go to India to make Hiss in reality. She went there to make Despite the Gods. To make the making
right.
of it. Now, the funny thing about this is that when I met Jennifer Lynch, she was at a film festival promoting Hiss. So that's kind of the irony of like this whole thing, all this Twin Peaks Thought of the Day videos, me even starting, this particular YouTube channel, all came from meeting Jennifer Lynch. Oh, not meeting Jennifer Lynch, but the starting the Twin Peaks videos, came from meeting her from this thing.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny that I owe a lot to that movie that she apparently had a miserable time making, even though when she was promoting it, she promoted it like, that it was a really good film. So it wasn't until like later that the quote unquote truth came out.
Yeah.
I think at that point they were still in post-production, so she wasn't sure of how the thing was going to turn out.
Things went horribly wrong, didn't they? I think in a lot of ways. Yeah.
But it is funny to look back and be like, okay, I've had other YouTube channels in the past, and I had Obnoxious Anonymous set up, but I hadn't done any, like Twin Peaks videos or anything until like I talked with her, and then we said, oh, we should do an interview, and then we did the interview, and that's what started the whole thing. So if I had never met her while she was promoting none of this would have happened. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, amazing. Yeah.
It's crazy how life just hands you things like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's talk about the campaign and where we are. For those of you who've been living under a rock for the last month and a half, I'm making a Twin Peaks fan film called Queen of Hearts. It should be right here in front of my name, or right in front of me, in front of my name. It's been a long day, guys. You got the link here. Follow it there, and donate what you can. And if you donate during this podcast, I will give you a shout out. And thank you so much for all the people who have been donating. I really appreciate it. Okay, here's where we are. Let me just refresh, just to make sure there's anything new here. Takes a second for whatever reason. Okay, so we are at 49% of 25,000, 235 backers, and we've raised 12,158. We are $342 away from hitting 50%. We have at this moment just under 5 days left. So we're approaching 4.5 days left. If this campaign does not meet the goal, the movie is not funded, and everybody who donated will immediately, get their money back. So, or I don't know, maybe it takes a day or two. I don't know, but your money will go back to you. So we've been saying this for a while, that it's kind of like a win-win type of situation, right? It's like if the movie gets made, great. You get to see this awesome Twin Peaks movie. You also get you know, a bunch of behind the scenes stuff, and you get to see the whole making of the film, and that's great. If it doesn't get funded, you get your money back. So there it is.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So that's quite nice. Frank, you know, I want to thank you personally on this video for, you know, all your support, you know, all your help. I know the film hasn't quite started getting made yet, but you've already been just a wonderful help behind the scenes, and I really just want to thank you very much for all your help.
Thank you.
Now, I mentioned this the other night, but I don't think a lot of people have noticed this. So I want you to announce it yourself. And that is this new perk that is now on the campaign under the $50. Would you like to show the people what you have generously tossed into the mix?
Sure. Yeah. Okay. And I'll go through the other ones as well after. I know the one you're talking about. There are only, I think one's gone already. Can you check that, Cam? Have you still got the link on there?
I'm sorry, say it again.
Can you check if they make sure they haven't all sold out?
They haven't.
I've only got 6. I've only got 6 copies.
They haven't sold out at all.
I think one has. I think one's gone.
Okay. Well, let me.
One of the 6. Yeah. So I only have 6 copies. Sorry.
Let me look. 1 out of 6 have been claimed of the fresh coffee perk. All right, go ahead.
Right. Okay, let's go. Right. So there's 5 left. In 2000, I'll just give a bit of backstory to it. I think in 2011, I met before that, a few months before. I was quite new online at that point, for about 2010. I went to the first Twin Peaks UK festival, and that kind of opened up a few doors, shall we say, and new friends and so on. One of them being Kimmy Robertson, who I met online. Then later met her in person at the 2011 UK Fest. But in between that, I had an idea with her voice in mind. I kept hearing her voice saying these words, and I thought she'd be perfect. It's kind of like a bit of a jolly song and funny, because her delivery's funny. So I wrote these random words down, and not really lyrics, and she did spoken word for them. And what happened was I got her to record her voice for me on one track called Enough Already. And this is the disc for that. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see that, Cam?
Yeah, just bring it a little closer. You got to talk, though, so it comes.
Yeah, so this is the CD called Enough Already. And you can see Kimmy on there. It's like
a little higher. There you go.
Like a cartoon kind of image of Kimmy looking kind of shocked. And the paw prints at the top are related to a dog, Zeke. And the drink you see there is a smoothie, which is in the narrative that she's trying to get from A to B.
A little higher. A little higher. Good? Now keep going. There you go. They're perfect. Okay.
And she's trying to get from A to B to have a smoothie. And she's facing a lot of hurdles on the way, and she's getting increasingly frustrated in the story as we go along. And I did the music to it and recorded her vocals and mixed it all in. So this CD is just a 3-track EP. Track 1's with Kimmy. Track 2 is me on vocals with a song called Lost in Time, which has a kind of Twin Peaks vibe, as you can imagine, and an instrumental called Dance Baby Dance. Okay, so that's the CD. So you get that. And also, I'm throwing in a postcard of the actual album art as well. So that's that. Can you see that?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's going as well. Okay.
So let me just pause you right there. So for those of you who are, you know, these amazing, wonderful, insane Twin Peaks collectors that got to have everything, you know, having to do with the cast of Twin Peaks, this is a true collector's item. You know, this is Kimmy Robertson, you know, doing vocals on a song by Frank, and there's only 6 or 5 of them left available on the perk. Just go to find the perk called Fresh Coffee, and it's there, and you get that, and you get a bunch of other stuff as well. I know that, you know, as a Twin Peaks fan myself, that's pretty cool, you know, because there's a lot of people out there who want to have everything having to do with the cast and everybody having to do with the world of Twin Peaks. And I don't know, to me, if I was, you know, wanting to collect everything, this would be something that nobody else would have. That it's super cool. So I really want to thank you again, not only for all your help behind the scenes, but also just, you know, being so generous and like, you know, donating this kind of stuff, because, you know, it just ups the coolness factor of the whole campaign. So thank you, Frank.
Yeah. Oh, you're welcome. I hope it helps. And while I'm just on the music subject, I'll just talk about the other two. If you look on I think it's the $100 perk. There's two different $100 perks, but you get all the same perks thrown in. The only difference is with one of them, you've got, I think it's called Blue Frank. If you look at the Blue Frank perks, these are two albums I did. This is the first one. This is my very first solo album, so it's all my stuff. There's some songs in it that are influenced by Twin Peaks, some of the music. Obviously, it feeds into my life in every way, you know. But they're all songs I've written and recorded and sing on myself. And I've got a few guest vocalists in and the guitarist. And can you see that, Cam? Just tell me where I'm at, if I'm at the right bit.
You're good.
Right, and it's called All Life's Losers, and my band name, solo artist name, is Chemical Dysfunction. It's an 8-track CD, all my own work. Okay, so that's going to be on the Blue Frank perk. But if you put in the $100 on that, you get a copy of this one, and you also get a copy of this. This is what I produced. It's called Acts of Love, Various Artists. You got that, Cam?
Yeah, it's a little glare, but it's there is, people can see it, I think.
Yeah, and that's got various artists on it, local artists. It's just various songs they've written. There are a couple of people you might know from the Twin Peaks world. Well, one in particular is John Neff, who I'm sure a lot of you will know. He worked with Lynch for 8 years.
And he did all this. Didn't he do the sound work for the new season?
No, he didn't. He didn't.
Oh, okay.
You know the song "No Stars" that was on there,
right?
Rebecca Del Rio. He recorded that with her.
That's beautiful. So
that's a beautiful song. It was John Neff was on that collaboration. So yeah, so that's a beautiful song. So there's an instrumental track by John on this, and the other loose link is there's a song by Daphne Ashbrook, who is Dana Ashbrook's sister. Okay. So you get that as well. So basically, you're getting 2 albums for the 100 donation.
That's great. Now, the reason why that $100 perk, Blue Frank, has not been updated with that album is because
you're not able to update it, are you? Once it's on there, I don't think.
Yeah. So what happens is I during the 18-hour marathon we did, you said, "Oh, I want to donate this," and so I said, "Great," and so I put it up there. And people started buying it, and that's great. We're so happy that people bought it. But then when you decided to throw in more stuff, I couldn't go in and edit it and add more stuff to it. So just so you know, if you get the Blue Frank perk, you are getting more than what it says that you're getting.
Yeah, well, if you put $100 in for the Blue Frank perk, you will get the 2 albums. Also, if any of you, and I'm going to make this more even because I came into this late with this idea, and quite a few people have actually donated $100 already to your other thing. I'm gonna throw those albums in for people that have already donated before they knew about this. So anyone that's donated prior to me announcing these albums and on the $100, I'll put the albums. I'll send the albums out to them.
You're saying that every person who donated $100, you're gonna send albums out to them?
Yeah. How many are there?
I think more than albums you have.
All right, I was just trying to be a bit more generous because obviously
that's wonderful. But I think it's best to keep it to that perk because otherwise, right. You know, maybe some people just donated $100 to donate $100 and didn't. You know, they're not expecting a whole care package of awesome albums.
I apologize to anyone that donated before I thought of this idea, but I hope you understand.
Well, no, because before you had this idea, we had a whole list of perks as well. This was an additional perk that was added. So it's not, I mean, they had plenty of other perks to choose from beforehand as well. So,
sure.
But yeah. So anyway, guys, here's the thing. Where are we? I got so many tabs again. So yeah, we're at 49%, raised about 25,000. 235 backers. We're at $12,158 raised, which is great. However, we're $342 away from hitting the 50%. We have 5 days left, basically 4.5 days. So basically, to get this movie fully funded, we need to raise more or less, another $12,000, $500 in the next 5 days. Which, I mean, it's taken 40 days to get to this amount. So we really need to, as a obnoxious and anonymous / Twin Peaks community, kind of put our thinking hats on and figure out a strategic way to basically blitz this all over social media, because it's only going to take 150 people or more, to throw in $100 or so, or and then boom, it's already done. Yeah. So I've had people contact me, and I've also reached out to other people as well about contacting non-Twin Peaks related websites. I mean, because those who have been helping out and blogging about it and tweeting about it and retweeting about it, thank you. There's some that are not. So instead of bombarding those people with, that are not tweeting about or, talking about it, and that's fine. That's all totally up to them. But let's hit, other websites, other, film blogs, that type of thing. I'm using this as an example. But like collider.com, right? I wouldn't tweet or let collider.com know about this campaign, because I don't think anybody really monitors things like like empiremagazine.com or collider.com. I think what you're going to have to do is go to a particular website you're interested in contacting and finding that journalist, that writer, and tweeting it to them directly on Twitter, not through their company, but
right.
So like find somebody like John Schnepp out of Collider, and he's a huge David Lynch Twin Peaks fan. Just tweet him. Hey, John, you've done a lot of crowdfunding yourself for your comic book and your awesome movie, The Death of Superman Lives. What happened? How about throwing a retweet our way for this?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. I think that would do very, very well. So John Schnepp, definitely tweet at John Schnepp to have him like and retweet that, because I think he's got a big following. And he's a huge David Lynch fan himself. And he's actually been on this podcast before, talking Twin Peaks and David Lynch with me. He was the one that told me months and months beforehand, before the Blu-ray had even been announced, that the missing pieces were done and ready to go. And I said, excuse me? And he said, probably within the year, you'll be able to see him. I was like, what? And then boom. And it's like, it's funny to think that was like, what, 3.5 years ago.
But it's gone really fast when you look back. But
yeah, totally. But John Schnepp's a good guy, and he's been super supportive of us and stuff like that. So yeah, tweet at him. There's lots of other people out there. You just kind of have to go to the sites that you frequent, that you read about.
Yeah.
And there's Entertainment Weekly people. There's all these people that you can reach out to, and all we need is a retweet. I mean, they don't have to write a huge article about it. It'd be nice if somebody wrote an article about it. If I can just be kind of funny here for a second, but also like scratching my chin about it. We've had a number of Twin Peaks guests on the last few days, right? We've raised over $12,000 to do this fan film. Jake, Wardle yesterday was on our video.
Yeah.
And he was a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful guest. And then, much to my amazement, after he was on, he then went on Twitter and went on Facebook and told everybody that, support this film. And it was so great to talk with us, and it was so great to be on the podcast, but support the film. And I was like, oh my goodness, like I didn't ask him to do that. He totally did it on his own.
Yeah.
And then he started going through and liking everybody's tweets, that was so supportive of him. He was retweeting stuff that I had sent out. So, I thought, wow, a lot of guests on this show. Jake out there, tweeting this up. I know a lot of people who follow Twin Peaks, big media outlets also follow, him and other people. And he was having, there were other Twin Peaks people retweeting that as well.
Mm.
So I thought, well, this, might get us a couple more articles written about like, hey, what's this going on over here? Nothing. Nothing. Forget about like, pockets in the Twin Peaks community. I'm talking about just nothing in just the, the regular media.
Yeah.
And what's funny is there's tons of movie TV websites that, you throw one little breadcrumb at them and they're like writing whole articles about this and that, right?
Yeah.
So you would think that Freddie, the man who punched Bob into smithereens, saying support this film, other guests coming on the show, $12,000 raised within the community. Wow. You would think that would be something that like, Dread Central or, some, just little website, whatever, would be like, ooh, this is interesting. We should maybe talk about this.
Yeah.
But nothing. And it's funny because Frank, you and I were talking earlier today about like, what the heck can we do? Like, we can only do so much, right? I've done promotional teasers. I've done multiple videos. We've done almost a 24-hour stream. We've done tons of guests this week. The Indiegogo campaign has been tweeted out to almost like 6 million people. If you look at from like mid-November to now, I'm honestly at a loss of like, okay, it's basically in the universe's hands. It's in the fireman's hands. I'm really hoping that he captures Judy wherever she is and sends her somewhere else, because the Judy seems to be hovering over this campaign a little bit in terms of not letting it like really get to where it needs to go.
Yeah.
Not letting the media write about it, and I just find it funny. I mean, like if some other, I don't know, some other website had an interview with somebody, man, it would be picked up by all these other outlets. You know what I mean? I mean, but we've had all these people on for long periods of time, Amy Shields notwithstanding, just because of the technology situation.
Yeah.
And they've been great, wonderful, just like awesome moments in this podcast history. So you would think that somebody out there would be like, hey, Twin Peaks fans, you should check this out because you would really find this interesting. Nope, nothing, nada. Oh, you know what? There's, this Twin Peaks fan film was trending at the top of the Indiegogo film page on Sunday morning.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no articles written about that. No, nothing about that. Now we are at the bottom of the Indiegogo film page. I mean, there has been so little movement. What is it, Tuesday? So I think we've raised probably about 1,500 or so since the since the 18-hour feed. So it's while that's still a lot of money, it's
impressive. Yeah,
it's not where we need to go. And it's certainly not what we need to be still trending on Indiegogo. But I was, we were talking earlier today about like, I don't know what the heck else we can do about this, because like we have so much support out there, so many people wanting this to happen. I get message after message, people saying, "Oh, I can't wait to see this movie. This is going to be so awesome. It's going to be so fun." And I just keep watching like the Indiegogo campaign like tick up, $1 or nothing for like 12 hours straight, and we only have 4.5 days left before it's done. Yeah. So if you were thinking about throwing in anything, now is the time to do it. Don't wait until the 11th hour, because to be honest, I don't even know when the 11th hour is. It's just going to end, and once it ends, that's it. I mean, you can't donate anymore. So yeah, 4.5 basically 4.5 days left, Frank. It's
That's it.
I'm really getting like tense, you know, because it's like you just never know what's going to happen. Either this thing's
Yeah.
going to be completely funded, or you know, or it's not. And either way stresses me out.
Yeah.
Just because you just never, because if it does get funded, it's like going to happen at the 11th hour, and it's going to be, you know. So I don't know. I'm going to go to the chat and see if anyone's talking about anything.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see.
Please, guys, please donate now. Okay, there's some great things on there for your buck, and also just to be able to you know involve yourself in a sense with this production by helping to make it happen.
Yeah.
You know, make you feel good too. I think, and because I'm sure you want to see this story being told.
Well,
I know we all do. You know.
Yeah. Well, the thumb down person has already shown up today. So thank you for stopping. Thank you for stopping by.
Thanks, because it's nice to see you regular here. Yeah.
Yeah. I love people who subscribe to me just to thumb me down. Like, really? That's what you live for? All right. 4021971 says, unfortunately, Twin Peaks is losing steam. I hate to say it, but people have moved on and don't care about Twin Peaks that much anymore. Well, I don't know. Did people really care about Twin Peaks this year anyway? I mean, besides it coming back, I mean, it was basically the fans that were so excited about it. It wasn't the newbies that were super excited about it. So the hardcore fans are still here. I mean,
yeah, I mean, I know, as we said before, you know, it didn't attract a huge audience on Showtime by any means, but it was still a sizable audience. You know,
yeah, and that's true. And that's true. And I'm not disagreeing with that. What I'm saying, though, is that I'm not asking for $20 million.
Yeah.
Right. I'm asking for like 150 people to throw in $100. You know what I mean? Like, there's more. There's a lot more than 150 Twin Peaks fans still left in the world. I assure you. So
yeah,
you know,
I don't think it's run out of steam. Twin Peaks at all. I think Twin Peaks is as popular as ever. You know, there's trending about it constantly. It's getting loads and loads of great reviews. Okay, it didn't get the numbers when it was screened, and maybe it's not going to do well in the awards ceremonies or anything like that, sadly. But there was an awful lot of media coverage about the series, and it's getting in top 10s and top 50s of the best TV this year constantly. You see things constantly about it. Yeah. So there's a lot of people out there that really do love it, you know, and there's that positivity there for it. Totally. I still think there's that hunger for it too. I still think that's there.
Of course.
You know,
and I think the hunger is there for this project because this is, you know, Twin Peaks in a different way. It's in a different version than maybe what you're used to seeing. So that right there kind of makes it different and interesting, and kind of gives it sort of a different life, you know. SBF says, if this film campaign doesn't work out, I'd really consider organizing for a few months or a year and trying to revive the project. No, thanks. No, thanks. I'm not going to organize for a year and then try to do this again. I have been wanting to.
There's a lot of energy gone into this, and 45 days of fundraising, and it's been this, and we've only got to this, not even, you know, only just barely to a halfway point of fundraising. I don't think that. Could you really could we all go through that again?
No. The other thing is that, you know, I've been wanting to do this for a long time, going back to 1992. I've been doing this video channel for 5 years, but I've been doing YouTube for, I don't know, let's say 6 or 7 years. So people know me on here. People have been watching my videos. People have been subscribed to my channel. After 5 years of talking Twin Peaks basically nonstop on this channel, if I can't raise the money now, I'm not going to be a year from now. You know, you know, people have had a long enough time to get to know me and who I am and decide whether they want to support the project or not. So there it is. So you guys have 4.5 days. Let's see here. SBF also says, yeah, this is kind of weird. Honestly, you think this channel would blow up in the media based on all these guests. Yeah, I agree.
It's a strange thing. It really is. I mean, you know.
Yeah.
I
Everybody,
don't know the answers to it. I don't know.
well, no, if there was answers to it, we'd be able to solve it.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
let's see. 402 says Jake is a stand-up guy. Love him. George says Jake is the man. You did it, Freddie. George says you're doing everything you can, Cameron. You're doing great. Thank you so much, George. Really appreciate it. So let's see here. Uh, yeah, SBF, I agree. I completely agree with you. He says, I'm kind of surprised that the show actors tweeting it out didn't blow this project up and get you to your goal already.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, me too. You know, it's, you know, George is saying crowdfunding is a tricky thing. Oh, it definitely is. You know, I've stepped in it, you know, a few times for different things, but you would think that like once like I don't know, name people are like talking about it, tweeting about it, posting about it on their Facebook, that the media would be like, wait, the Twin Peaks actor is promoting a Twin Peaks fan film that has already raised over $12,000 and there's only a week left. We should get on that. Let's write a quick blurb about it and send it out, you know, on Ain't It Cool News or whatever like that. No, nothing. So whatever, guys, whatever. It's so dumbfounding to me. You know, I had some haters the other day say to me online, what you expect just everybody to just talk about your fan film? I mean, it's a fan film, you know, it's not curing cancer or that type of thing. And I'm like, no, but you would think that like just outlets that are, let me tell you something. A lot of these like websites, they have writers on staff that let's say have to cover, you know, 4 to 6 hours of time, right? And they have to write 5 to 6 articles an hour just to keep up a quota. And that's why the articles aren't like big in-depth stuff. They're just kind of like little blurbs. So I'm telling you that if I was a writer for JoeBlow.com or something like that, and I know I had to write 5 or 6 articles an hour, and I found out that this Twin Peaks film was being promoted and the actors were talking about it, you're damn right I'm going to write one of the articles about that. You know?
Yeah.
So anyway, it's just hilarious. So no, I don't expect everybody to write about it. I just find it funny that nobody is writing about it.
You know, even just from, you know, the actors, you know, tweeting about it that they did, you know, that didn't gain more traction. Just that alone, really, you know.
402 says, I hope you're right that the Twin Peaks isn't losing steam. I also have seen media outlets that have said Twin Peaks was the worst show of the year. I am a big fan still, but media isn't. You know what? People who say it's the best show or the worst show, I mean, they may feel that way, but also by saying that, they're going to get a lot of clicks just for that, you know? And when you're doing websites like that, it doesn't matter people like or dislike your articles. What matters how many times people click on it, and that's all that matters. So they come up with outlandish things, you know, both great and bad, just to get those clicks. Let's see. SBF says, yeah, you're totally justified in your reaction and frustration. The people who watch this regularly totally understand. Well, I'm glad, because I don't want you guys to think, I know there are people out there who think that I just whine about with this kind of stuff, but I'm not trying to whine. I'm just like, I just like to be honest and express how I feel, you know, and yeah, I am a little dumbfounded that, you know, I put in a lot of work in these videos. We have a lot of great people on here, a lot of great discussions, a lot of great guests, and a campaign that's doing very well that could just use a little bit of a media push and silence. So that's all. It's just, I find it amusing. It's frustrating, and it is dumbfounding. Okay. Alice Lynch says, I assume the project would have worked faster and better when Twin Peaks was on. But it is what it is, right? I still believe this could work. You know what? We will never know that answer because we didn't do it. And the reason why I didn't do it is because out of respect for David Lynch and Mark Frost and not knowing what the hell was going to happen in season 3. I didn't want to, you know, promote a fan film having to do with like Annie Blackburn and things like that. In the event she did show up.
Yeah.
Because that would have just made no sense whatsoever, because then we would have had maybe potentially contrasting narratives.
Yes.
And while this is a fan film, I still am very respectful of what they've created, and so I don't try to do things to turn the canon into my favor. I like to work within their established canon. So that's why I really didn't. And I honestly didn't even think about it until it was over. And then people started sharing various Twin Peaks fan films with me. And that kind of re-energized the bug, because we were still coming down off that Twin Peaks high. And I was like, I don't really want to give this up right now. I don't want to give up this buzz I'm feeling, even though the show is over. You know, so I was like, well, here's a way I could keep the buzz. I could maybe make this film. And I don't know who I was talking. Maybe it was Hal or somebody I was talking about it online with. And then I started seeing the reaction in the chat and in my emails. And I had so many people emailing me, Frank, that if I wanted to set the budget at $40,000, I could have, because that's what, if you tally up what they were saying they were willing to put in, that's about what they were saying they were willing to donate. So I thought, okay, well, what I'll do is I'll set it at 25, because I kind of would like to get more than 25, just because Indiegogo takes that percentage out. And also, it always looks good when your project is 150% funded, you know, that kind of thing. And then a lot of those people that messaged me, this and that, just, you know, this was post season 3, you know, being done. So obviously they weren't in the middle of season 3 saying, oh, you know, and they didn't like the ending and then, you know, reneged on that. This was after season 3. So, you know, so I was kind of like, okay, cool. And then none of them really showed up. So now it feels like we're like crawling to the finish line. But hopefully we will get there. We're 4.5 days. Anything is possible in the Twin Peaks universe, Frank. Anything is possible.
Yes. Yeah.
So, okay, let's move on here. SBF says, yeah, this fan film should be the highlight of the community right now. Listen, I don't want to speak for the community, but I do think that, yeah, this should be kind of like spreading like wildfire. And forget about just the fan film thing, okay? Forget about me doing this fan film. The Jake interview, the, you know, John Piricello, the, Zoe McClain, the, you know, the Lisa Coronado interview we did in the last few days, you know. Yeah. I mean, hell, Amy Shields just popping up on the video for like 5 seconds. Should have been like on every Facebook page, you know, like, oh my God, can you believe these Twin Peaks actors are just, you know what I mean? Yeah. Nothing, radio silence. So, which, listen, for publicity for the movie in a main, you know, widespread thing, it hasn't really done anything, which is unfortunate and kind of a bummer. Yeah. But for the people who have subscribed to this channel, to the people who support this channel, to the people who support me, yeah, they're getting like spoiled rotten this week.
Yeah, they really are. Yeah.
So I hope you guys really appreciate it, because this has been super fun.
I love doing it.
Yeah. Let's see. SBF says, I did a simple music thing and got on Welcome to Twin Peaks. Nothing fancy, but they don't host this. Tweet at them, message them, tell them to talk about this and see if you get anywhere. Because my messages my messages don't get anywhere. SBF continues and says, yeah, there's some weird politics in the community, a lot of clicky weirdness. If you don't agree about the show, some people see you as the enemy almost, I think. Well, that's true of any fan community. And and the David Lynch community is extremely lovable, loving, but it can be hostile. It can be. You know, there's multiple reasons for that.
You get, as I say, you get that contrast in every kind of fandom.
You do.
It's not just exclusive to Twin Peaks by any means.
No, but
You
the
know?
thing is though, is that David Lynch taps into so many layers in people
Yeah.
that like Star Wars fandom is big, is huge, but you basically got people saying, I loved it, I hated Last Jedi, blah blah blah. But David Lynch gets into people's subconscious, your dreams, So
Yeah.
you're
Yeah. It's a
you,
different train of thought. Yeah, I
so
understand.
so
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
dealing with people who may give you the biggest hug and kiss ever, or someone who might stab you in the stomach with a screwdriver. So that's it.
Inland Empire style. Yeah.
Exactly. And you're crawling to the police station, like, please help me. Hal, we got Hal in the live chat. That's great to see you. Hal, if you want to come on, please let me know and I'll invite you on. Let's see here. Yeah, George is correct that, why would I do the campaign when I don't even know the developments of the characters in season 3? I agree.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Let's see here. Let's see. SPS says, I don't even like fan films. I just want to see this thing, honestly. Excuse me. That made me laugh. Frank, now,
Yeah.
We've talked a little bit. The normal thing with fan films are, I don't know, fan films are, can range in all types of quality. Without going into specifics, without going into details and stuff, but don't you think that this is a very different kind of fan film? This isn't like, oh, Cameron's gonna make a Twin Peaks fan film. It's a real thing. It's something that takes it seriously, and
you've had this idea for sitting there for a long, long time. It's not like a quick whim of an idea. You've been developing this for a long time.
Yeah, I'm not just some Twin Peaks podcast. It's like, I really like season 3, and Twin Peaks is really hip and cool right now. So let me do a fan film. Yeah, this isn't me capitalizing on Twin Peaks, right?
No.
It's not at all. This is just kind of like, hey, I really loved the summer of David Lynch we got. I want to stay in that mood. Fan films are really big. There's technology is a lot cheaper than it used to be even 10 years ago. So let's try it. Let's do it. And I think everybody will really, really like it, except for the people who love to come and thumb down my videos. But I think everybody else will really like it. So
yeah, majority would. Yeah.
The funny thing is, the people who thumb down my videos, they are the first people to like watch my things too. So it's not like they come in like 2 days later and thumb them down. They come right in the front. So they're gonna want to see this fan film just like everybody else.
Yeah.
So, all right. 402 says, I can't believe it has been 4 months since the last episode aired. I want more. But as time goes on, it seems less likely. Oh, don't give up the hope. Don't give up the hope.
Don't give up the hope, no. It will take, even if they did get the green light to do it, you're not going to see it next year. It's going to take time.
Twin Peaks Outside the City Limits says, we are all living inside Cam's dream. Let's make this film happen. Oh, I don't know if I want you guys all in my head, but yeah, no, please, let's make it happen. I appreciate your comment, David. Thank you so much. Let's see here. Excuse me. George says people wanted a happy ending, but does a happy ending really exist in the world of Twin Peaks? Happy ending can exist anywhere, George. Just depends on
the story you want to tell. That's the thing. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, Ed and Norma's story ended it happy.
There were quite a few happy endings in this new season. It wasn't all downbeat.
And in a way, if it's kind of like is the glass half empty or half full. You can look at the ending of the whole series as being a happy ending, even though it's not, but it is. It's kind of a bittersweet thing, because again, like I've said before, if the electricity is what helps power the lodges and that type of thing, just Carrie herself screaming and blowing out the electricity means that ultimately the battle is beginning, but it will win in the favor of good.
Yes.
So
yeah, in a sense, even though it didn't seem like it seemed very dark, that scene and stuff. But when you look back, there probably is a lot of positives from that. They're still
Right.
together, as we said. They're
Right.
still together, and they're going to go out and fight the good fight. You know.
Exactly. And the same thing with Fire Walk with Me is that, it's a very bittersweet, sad ending because, but it's also a happy ending, right? Because, yeah, they're both trapped in the lodge, but as I've said before, they're safe in there while the world is going to hell out there,
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So they may be stuck in hell, but at least they're together and they're happy, and the rest of the world is,
It's going to pop.
is
Going
going
to fall
crazy.
into be.
Yeah, and zombie girls are throwing up, and Audrey's getting attacked in the hospital, and Sheriff Truman's getting cancer, and but Cooper's like, when he comes out, he's just like, "Hey, Harry, is the coffee on?" He doesn't realize
Yeah,
everything's
he's
going crazy.
what? Yeah, all the madness. Yeah. Well, he does actually because he was putting a lot of that into place.
Yeah.
He was getting all the things ready, wasn't
George
he? Yeah.
says the story of Annie Blackburn must be told. I agree. And in case you guys don't know, I'll throw this out there too. I'm surprised you guys don't know. But this movie also deals with Wyndham Earl and Cooper as well. And so it is a huge thing about Annie, but there's a lot in there about Wyndham and Cooper as well. And as a Twin Peaks fan, I want to see that too, because that's something we've never seen.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw them like look at each other in the Black Lodge for 30 seconds, and then that was it. I'm talking about seeing them before,
Yes, yeah.
when they were partners. Okay, let's see. 402 says that last scene was absolutely brilliant. It was my favorite scene of all of the great scenes. Matt says, I get paid on Friday. We'll give what I can spare. Thank you, Matt. That will be pretty much the last, close to the last day. So try to get it.
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much.
Let's see here. Then we get people talking about, SPF says, if this does happen, will you play Gordon, Cameron? Well, Gordon would be younger at that point, right?
Yeah.
So
you have to wear a wig.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
What's funny is that in the original series, he says, Harry, hearing's gone, got these things cranked up to the max. But then in the new series, he tells Albert, I got these things cranked up to the max. Speak quietly. So it shows
don't shuffle your feet, Albert.
Exactly. So even then, it's like technology has improved, so much so that he doesn't want anyone talking loud anymore.
He's got much more high tech earpieces.
Yeah.
More noise sensitive. Yeah.
Yeah, completely. SPF says, yeah, that last shout with Carrie screaming, the lights going out. Dear God, that was chilling stuff.
Oh, it was very powerful, that, man.
Well, as I've said, as I've said a million times, though, if there's lots of, I mean, I know everyone really likes 18 and stuff, but imagine if Cooper took Laura out of the woods and they just walked to the house, and then that was the final scene of episode 17, and as Laura screaming in the street like that, and boom. I mean, he would have gotten almost the same effect, He just would have.
Of course, yeah, but more so because it was the last part, and then we're left hanging again like we were before on a huge cliffhanger,
Right.
Perfect.
But again, like Fire Walk with Me, it's a cliffhanger, but it also, I understand the people who say, well, it could serve as an ending. At least,
yeah, it could. It
can.
Could, but it also has a back door there for a potential, more. It's very cleverly done. It's got a kind of an ending, but it's also got an opening.
Right, and it's got an ending / opening that you're talking about. That is great because they now do not have to adhere to prior canon anymore because they've erased it.
Yes.
Right. So so anybody who died in the previous 2 seasons, if they're still alive and want to be in Twin Peaks, they could bring them back from the dead.
Yeah.
Because that a lot of the timeline didn't happen. So so that's kind of cool too. It opens up a lot of possibilities.
Oh, so many possibilities. Unbelievable. Yeah. So many ideas.
Completely.
Yeah.
Let's see. SPF says, I don't want Twin Peaks to ever have closure. Well, I don't think you're going to have that problem.
I don't think it ever will. I think, we'd be talking about this for years. There's also possibly be more books by Mark, maybe. You never know what might happen, in between.
Right. I agree with you, Matthias, about the ending kind of reminds you of the ending of Angel, which is kind of ends on a cliffhanger, but it definitely gets the point across that the war has just begun. Let's see here. Just going a little bit. SPF says, I like season 3 as it aired, but I only keep liking it more and more as I rewatch it. Well, I think that's the point of it. It was to, unveil itself in layers to you,
Oh, yeah.
Buster says, I rewatched the series. I thought Frank Truman was all right, but I believe if Onkeen would have been on the show, it would have been a lot better. Well, I mean, just imagine Michael Onkeen in that same role. I don't know. I mean, yeah, it would have been great to see him, but it would have been disappointing if Cooper and Harry didn't have really any interaction. He was just sitting at the desk at the end during the whole thing, and then Cooper was just like, "We live inside a dream," and that was it. Like you know what I mean? It'd be super sad.
If it played out the way it did play out, and then they wouldn't have had much interaction at all. Just that last minute dash in when he pulls in there, and they're only together for a couple of minutes, and that would have been a real cop out, a real shame.
And they don't even have a moment together. Like he doesn't look at Frank and say, say hi to Harry, or you know what I mean. There's just no interaction there.
Yeah, because it's a frantic pace. It's a rush to the end. The battle's starting. It just couldn't play out that way. The way they did it.
Exactly.
But I think Robert Forster's character, he made that character his own, and I think he became very lovable and likable as he went on. I liked him in that role.
Alice says, Cameron, the movie with Laura and Donna, what was that? I can't even remember what it was called. Blah, 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 blah. The Love, Lies, and Murder, I think. She says Wyndham Earle's in that movie too.
Is he?
Kenneth Welsh, I guess.
Kenneth Welsh is in that. Oh, blimey.
Fantastic. I'll have to check that out. I haven't watched that movie since it came out in 1992.
Hi, Alice, by the way. Thanks for your messages and everything. It's like, Happy New Year.
Yeah. Let's see here. See, they're just talking about the ending of season 4 here. Reggie says favorite Blu-ray feature. Probably, honestly, I like the documentaries, but I really like Richard Beamer's too in the Black Lodge. I think those were my favorite. Even though I loved the whole thing, I thought that was just awesome. It was like spending an hour watching, just being in the Black Lodge with David Lynch.
It's really fascinating. The process, the filming process of it, amazing. Yeah.
Twin Peaks Outside the City Limits says, do you think we will ever get the Twin Peaks graphic novel? Not as long as Mark Frost and David Lynch are doing this, no. Although, because Mark Frost wanted to do it, but David Lynch said no. So,
Yeah, who knows?
Let's see. Howell says, no more books by Frost, please. I want more show. It's the only thing that truly satisfies.
It's true. The visual and audio is the best way to see Twin Peaks.
But I do love the idea.
Ultimately,
I do love the idea of Cheryl Lee doing the audiobook for The Secret Diary. That's great.
Oh, I think that's a great thing. I'm glad that's done. I'm really glad she did that.
Yeah. Let's see here. Oh, yeah. SPF says Frank Truman's reactions to Wally Brando might be the funniest part of season 3.
That scene was priceless anyway.
We're like when they say that Wally Brando's here and they're at the table inside, and he goes,
Lord. What the hell?
Yeah, exactly. Super funny.
It was really funny. It really was. I love that scene.
SBF says, I've not seen any of the behind the scenes stuff. I really need to check those out. No, super good stuff.
They're amazing. They're amazing.
You're not going to believe the access that Lynch allowed those guys to get. Although I will
unprecedented. I was really surprised. It's incredible, really.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Totally. But it's also because he's friends with those filmmakers,
and he trusts them.
Yeah. He trusts them. Exactly. So yeah. John says, Cameron, have you seen Lucky yet? Just saw it. Harry Dean Stanton is incredible in it. Thought you might want to review it. Lynch is hilarious in it. Thank you for bringing that up. I haven't seen it yet, but for those of you who do not know, George in the chat right now, he reached out to me last night to let me know, and it's true, that Lucky is now out on DVD and on streaming, but not on Blu-ray.
Ah.
So if you want an HD version of Lucky, you're going to have to go to Vudu or iTunes or something like that and get it. It's $14 right now on streaming. I don't know about the DVD, but I really dislike buying DVDs anymore. I want the Blu-rays. I don't know why we're going backwards and just releasing things on DVD. But I'm gonna probably buy it on streaming, or long-term rent it on streaming, I should say. Because I do want to see it. I
definitely want to see it. I definitely want to see it. I definitely want to see it. Yeah.
Right. You can get it for $14 right now on Vudu, which I might do. John says
sorry, carry on.
No, John just says it's a perfect double feature with the straight story. Oh, I bet it is. All right, go ahead.
I was just going to ask you, did you get around to watching the art live?
Yes, I did.
What do you think?
I really liked it. I've been planning to do kind of a review of it.
I loved it. I actually saw it on a big screen. It was incredible.
I think it's really, really good. I was a little disappointed in the ending of it. Not that I was like, wow, what a terrible ending. But okay, so I can't remember where it ended. I think it was like right around the time he was doing Eraserhead. They kind of ended it right around that time. I don't know. I can't remember.
I can't remember all of it now because I've only seen it the once, you know. So I can't.
But I was telling my wife that the real ending for that documentary is not where they ended it. It's at the screening for Eraserhead when Mel Brooks comes out and tells David Lynch, "I love you. You're a madman. You're in."
Yeah.
Because I have an interview with David Lynch that he did for TNT a long time ago, which is not online. I used to have it online, but you know, my YouTube channel is gone from that. But Lynch says that if it wasn't for Mel Brooks, he would have been reduced to surreal obscurity, and we never would have heard from him in the same that we've had him in our lives as an artist now. That if Eraserhead had not done well,
he wouldn't have done the Elephant Man and so on.
He would have just maybe continued doing his little art films and stopped, and maybe just gone into painting, and we wouldn't have had David Lynch, the film director.
Yeah.
So in a way, it's like, yeah, Eraserhead's a big step, but honestly, David Lynch's career, if we're going to talk about not the painting life but the filmmaking life, Mel Brooks doesn't see Eraserhead. Mel Brooks doesn't hire him from the Elephant Man. Then we don't get, Dune, Blue Velvet, Wild at Heart, Twin Peaks, Lost Highway. We don't get any of this stuff. And the way that Lynch says that in his interview of like, I would have been reduced to surreal obscurity. It just goes to show you how that one person can change your whole life.
That break, just got that right moment, that break. It could have gone a completely different path for him.
Yeah.
But that's the way life goes. You just don't know what's around the corner. You just don't.
Right. Okay. Reggie says, "What film did you have more support for? This Queen of Hearts film or Bird with a Broken Wing, which was something I wanted to do a few years ago. I mean, I still want to make it, but I've kind of paused on it for a while. This one, I've had more support for this film because when I was doing Bird with a Broken Wing and trying to get people for that, nobody cared, nobody was interested because it had not become in the public knowledge yet. People weren't aware of that story or those series of stories. It hasn't been until like the last year or two since it's kind of gotten into the public consciousness. But a lot of my footage that I shot, while I was like researching for that project, that's been played on 48 hours and 2020 and all these things. So so in terms of like maximum exposure, yeah, Bird with a Broken Wing got my name and a bunch of my stuff out there more. But in terms of like monetary support, Queen of Hearts so far has been the one, because obviously we talk Twin Peaks on this channel, so obviously there's going to be more of that on there, more support there. Everyone's like saying, yeah, the art life is totally cool. Let's see. SPF says it'd be cool if after season 4 they make a bunch of Japanese Georgia coffee commercials. But they got to do it with Dougie, okay, not Cooper. It's got to be Dougie.
Oh, that'd be good with Dougie. Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah. Let's see. SPF says, yeah, honestly, Lynch could have really gone down a horrible, sad path if he had not met Mel Brooks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows where that would have led him. Yeah.
George says, my Blu-ray set for season 3 is already falling apart. My disc skipped on part 18 the first time I played it. Thanks, Showtime. Well, take it back to the store. Try to get it back. Try to get another one. Yeah. Hal says, if Lynch would have stopped with Eraserhead, he would still be legendary. I agree, Hal. However, that would be if Eraserhead ever got a release. I mean, that movie could have just gone underground and stayed underground. And there's a lot of movies that have disappeared over the last 40 years. So who knows? Who knows?
Hard to tell, yeah. The best, it would have become just like this sort of cult film, little cult film.
Yeah. Millie's here in the chat, and she says, talking about big breaks, how many people have the dream of David Lynch wanting to Skype with them for years? Jake's story amazes me.
Hi, Millie.
Yeah. Yeah, somebody on the comments yesterday's video say, I can't believe you guys didn't ask him about what David Lynch project that he was being talked to about being in. And I responded back with, that's classified, Major Briggs.
Yeah, nice one.
Because who knows? I mean, maybe David Lynch will want to make that movie sometime, and I don't want Jake to be put on the spot like that.
We don't. None of us know what the hell that's about. And, if anything, yeah.
Let's see here. Let's see. George is saying, for those people whose Twin Peaks season 3 boxes are falling apart, says you can get a 5-pack of Blu-ray cases, double cases, for $7 on Amazon.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
SMH 9000 said, I just saw the Fireman/Giant on a hike in Pasadena this afternoon.
Oh, fantastic.
That must have been mind-blowing. Because you would have been like, did I get sucked into a vortex? Where am I?
Did I just see Bigfoot? No, it's Carol Strachan. Yeah.
That's amazing. That would be amazing. I would love to meet him. We should get him on this podcast.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah.
Oh, my God. Let's see here. Let's see, where are we? Now they're talking about the X-Files. And
yeah, that's back tomorrow, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. And what's her name?
Gillian Anderson.
Julian Anderson. Yeah. She. There's a big article that came out today saying that this is going to be her last season, regardless if the show continues or not.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Yeah,
who knows? Who knows if that's true? All right, Frank. I got some good news here. We got
got good news. Yeah.
Yeah, we got some Indiegogo support here.
But donations?
Yeah, let's do this.
Oh,
we have Stuart here, who's thrown in $25. Thank you, Stuart.
Thank you, Stuart. Thank you.
Really appreciate it. Remember, guys, every contribution helps boost the campaign, boost the awareness, helps Indiegogo take it back to the top.
Yeah.
George threw in $1. Thank you, George.
Cheers, George. Thanks.
Let's see here. And George threw in another $1.
Bless you, George, for those dollars. Keep them up.
Exactly. All right, let's check that. Let's check the campaign and let people know where we are. This is fun. I love doing these little telethon things.
Yeah, it's probably when the donations come in. I'm like, well, that's the best. That's great. Yeah.
Super fun. All right. All right. So we are 49% raised, 25,238 backers. We're at $12,185. So we are, let's see, $315 away from hitting the 50% goal raised. We have about 4.5 days left. So
Come on, guys. We really need your support. We
you know what,
really do.
you know what would be great is if we could at least get to the 50%, on tonight's podcast. That would be
That'd be lovely. Yeah,
that would be great because I want to believe that once this campaign hits the 50%, that will encourage people to keep going because we're getting to be on the other side of the mountain now.
Yeah.
That's my hope anyway. So we need 315 more dollars, and we will be at the 50%.
We can do this, guys. It's achievable. Please, if you haven't donated, please do.
It's absolutely achievable, Frank.
Yeah.
It really doesn't cost that much if the whole community comes together. Not even the whole community. How about 150 of us?
Yeah.
It's amazing what we can do in just even fairly small numbers. Yeah, so keep it coming, guys, because we only have 4.5 days left, and I'm already seeing on Twitter, like, if you search on Twitter, it seems like more people are talking about this fan film than the Showtime One-Eyed Jack's pop-up the other night, which is insane, right? So you would think with that much attention on it that there would be more donations, or even regardless of that, just like press, as I've said earlier in tonight's podcast. So it's like, it's so unbelievable, it's so wild. This is just a crazy thing. Do I ever want to go through something like this again? No, because it's just too much. It's too stressful, to be like, what's gonna happen? Is this thing gonna get made? Is this not gonna get made? I got tons of people interested and wanting to help out and work on it, and all that. But I can't talk to the enemy about anything serious, concrete, because it's not funded yet.
Yeah.
So, and I can't, I don't want to get people's hopes up if it doesn't get funded,
Sure,
and it's if I can speak frankly here with Frank, one of the things that I kind of told myself beforehand was that, okay, let's launch this, let's do this, but don't fall in love with this, Cameron, because just in case, because you never know what's going to happen. But now I'm like so all in on this thing that if it doesn't get to the goal, it will be very sad, because it's it's something that I've been looking forward to for a long time, and and also we're so close. I mean, yeah, we're still 50% away, but it's better than being 80% away, so it's like,
yeah, exactly.
So it's I mean, so I'm like, right now it's like, let's say you really like this girl, and so you made a phone call to her, and so you're just waiting for her to call you back. That's how it feels right now. You don't know whether she's going to call you back or not call you back, because she now knows how you feel, and so you're just kind of on pins and needles waiting to see if that phone ring comes back your way. And that's what this campaign right now feels like. It's like does she like me back, or is she going to just outright reject me?
Yes. Yeah. I know what you mean.
Yeah. Let's see here. Let's see where we got here. Now they're yelling about X-Files. SPF says, I think you're right. If you can hit this campaign at 60%, it may snowball from there. You never know. I mean, this thing could just completely just fizzle and fall apart, or these next 4 days might blow my phone up with all the donations coming in, because everyone's like, get it in. You just never know. You just never know. But what makes me sad, though, is like when I check my phone and there hasn't been an update in like 15 hours. because it's like, well, on this pace, we're never gonna make it.
Yes. Yeah.
Let's see. SBF says, if this campaign doesn't happen, this isn't your fault, Cameron. You've been pushing this campaign hard. I've been pushing this campaign so hard that I'm sick of looking at it myself. Reggie says, you should do a promotional stream at the pop-up shop. I am not in competition with Showtime, Reggie. Okay, I'm not like, hey, look at me, everybody. This is not to take away from Showtime, from David Lynch, from Mark Frost. This is just me wanting to tell a story, you know, in the universe that they're not going to touch, they're not going to go near, and you know, I want to play in the sandbox a little bit. That's all. Let's see. Let's see. Reggie says, is there any way to extend the timeline, or you know, the campaign? Is there a way to extend it? Theoretically, yes, there is, but it's kind of a road I don't really want to go down, because what it would do is it would allow the campaign to be somewhat active until June. But the thing about that is it would, you know, I still wouldn't be able to book people and locations and things like that, because I wouldn't know if the money was coming in or not. And also, if I did that, that means people wouldn't be refunded till June, and there wouldn't be any guarantee the film would still be made. And if I've been this stressed and tense doing this whole thing for 45 days now, I don't want to spend the next 6 months still promoting this campaign and promoting this film. It's too tiring. It's too taxing.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, you know, 45 days with this niche community is long enough to, you know, pester people about making a fan film, you know?
Yeah.
I figure you're either on board or you're not, and it's cool to be either or. But I'm just saying, I'm not going to extend this for another, you know, 150 days. It's too much. I can't do it. My stomach can't handle it. So, so yeah, you know what? You know, Kickstarter doesn't let you extend your campaign. You have 30 days, and that's it. So we've gone 15 days longer than Kickstarter allows you. So that's been ample time to raise what I need to raise. So, you know, 4.5 days, guys. I mean, that's where we are. You know, let's fund the thing or go home. So,
can I just mention, in case there's people that have only come in recently to this, can I mention the things I've thrown in again?
Go ahead.
Give them a reminder. Yeah. Right. If you guys can do, I know some of you have given $100 before, so it's, you know, there are people out there that do. If you look on the Indiegogo page, under Blue Frank, I'm putting in 2 albums, not 1 but 2, as an extra perk on there, on the Blue Frank thing. You get all the other perks as well that we normally get. This is my solo album that I did. It's got some Twin Peaksy kind of influences musically on there. I hope you can see that. Called All Life's Losers. And the other one is one I produced called Acts of Love by various artists. And it's got a track by John Neff on there, who I'm sure you all know. And another track by Dana Ashbrook's sister, Daphne, who's a singer as well as an actress. And all the rest are kind of local musicians and stuff. So, and I've got a track on there as well. So both of them are going into that. So you get both those, you'll get 2 copies, you'll get a copy of each for that. And this one is probably one you'd be more interested in, maybe. For the $50 perk under Fresh Coffee, I believe it is. This is an EP I did a few years back, 3-track EP, and one of the tracks I recorded with none other than Kimmy Robertson. The track's called Enough Already. And I wrote the songs and recorded the vocals with her. So you can have that. And also a postcard art print of the cover as well. Okay, guys. So that's going in for that. So hopefully you'll pick those perks. I really hope you do, because there's only 5 copies of this, the Kimmy Robertson disc left in existence. So thank you.
Well, thank you, Frank. I really appreciate it. SBF says, if you could delay the campaign, I'm nearly positive Cam would just be able to hit that goal. Well, I don't want to delay it another 6 months and just hit barely the 25. You know what I mean? It's just like, there are, like, I went on Indiegogo the other day. There was a pro Donald Trump, pro like chewing tobacco, pro gun, like, and again, I'm not saying, you know, you can like that or not like it, but I'm just saying there's something like that. You know, yeehaw, Dukes of Hazzard style type of stuff. And it raised, you know, nearly $60,000. And I can't even, you know, get past the 12 hump right now. So, you know, I mean, there are, it's not so much the length of time. I mean, yeah, I mean, if you set up any campaign for like 5 years, you're probably going to hit that goal, you know, but it's about, you know, like, people either take to it or they don't take to it. And that's, you know, where we are. Okay, let's see here. Where are we? Okay. Let's see. SBF says, again, it's frustrating because an extension would make this work. It theoretically it would, but the thing is, though, is that who knows if it would raise that much? And I don't want to be, you know, in March at 18,000 saying, "Come on, people, let's go to 25. Let's get there. Let's get there." You know, that's crazy talk. Again, this just the amount of attention and just promotion. And look, we've had a lot of Twin Peaks actors on here, you know, in the last few days. If they can't convince you to donate towards this film, I don't know what another 6 months is going to do. And the last thing we need is me on a video stream every day going, donate, give me money, give me money. I don't want to do that. It's like, I feel awkward and weird doing it now, but this is what you got to do. You got to put yourself out there. You know, and again, I'm not afraid to put myself out there. I just don't want to be doing the promotion machine for 6 months, because again, let's say the money comes in or doesn't come in. I have a window of time in which I can shoot this thing.
Yes.
And I can't be wondering if the money is going to come in or not at the last second. You know what I mean? It's like, because it's not fair to actors. It's not fair to people with locations and that type of thing. I have to book these things months in advance. So I can't be like, hey, what are you doing today? Can I shoot there? Great. The money just came in. You know, it's like, that's not going to happen. You can't do that. You can't do that.
You have to plan it. You have to plan it out properly.
Exactly. So, you know, we've had 45 days, guys. And before that, I did a month on this video stream of laying down the groundwork. Just so you guys know, I'm going to be launching it on this date, you know, and I was letting people know with every podcast that I was going to launch it. And then, you know, and then I did the Indiegogo videos and let people know we're going to launch on this day. I went on Twitter. You remember, Frank, the launch happens in 15 days. The launch happens in 14 days. The launch happens. So in reality, this campaign has been going on for nearly 60 days already. Mm-hmm. So without it, you know, actually being live, but basically going on for 60 days.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's had ample time to get people's attention. Now we're just going to see in these last 5 days what's it going to be. You know, I'm just kind of curious. SBF does say the suspense must be brutal for you, Cam. If we feel it this much, you must really be on the edge. Oh yeah, I can totally feel it, but I also feel it from you guys as well, because I'll go on Twitter and all of a sudden it will say 40 notifications, and I'll just see all these different, you know, Twitter accounts going support this, and retweeting it, and that's amazing. It makes me feel so good. Like, wow, that's so much support. It's so great. But I'm seeing an increase of people wanting
Yeah.
to support it in the last week. And we had somebody on the video over the weekend that said, Cameron, don't forget the majority of campaigns raise their money in that last week. So here we are in the last week. What cracks me up though is that like all the support is happening out there and very little return coming back in. So
There's a lot of goodwill there, but it's not bringing in the money.
yeah, exactly.
It's
Okay,
sad bit.
but however, Cody over here has done a wonderful, wonderful thing. He's thrown in $20, so thank you so much, Cody.
Thank you, Cody. Thank you.
And that has now brought us up to 12,205. So we are 200 and what? No,
Hold on.
no. We're 300. Yeah, no, $295 away from hitting 50%.
We're getting closer.
We're getting closer. Yeah, it's 12,000. We need to be at 12,500 to get to 50%. And then I don't want to say it's smooth sailing because it's definitely not, but it's a lot faster going down the hill than it is going up. So
yes, that's true. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Buster says you should hit the Lynch Foundation for a big donation. No, guys, no.
Oh.
No. Reggie says maybe in June your campaign will be at 125,000.
Yeah, maybe it won't.
Yeah, but even if that did, that I can't do that, guys, because under CBS's guidelines, a fan film can only be done for 50,000 or less. So
right.
So yeah, 125,000. As much as I would love to see that Twin Peaks fan film,
it would be great. Yeah.
It probably wouldn't be doing that. SPF says, have this been posted on every popular forum like Reddit? I know this places can be cancerous, but it's not begging. And if you explain your motivation, it may win some over. People have posted about this on Reddit, and nobody has responded. So if you want to start a new Reddit thread for these last few days, please go ahead. You have my support. But yeah, people have posted. You can go on Google, look it up. Nobody's commented on it. Nobody. it just lingers there. Let's see. SBF says, I want to hear Frank's music. Cool. We'll buy his music. Alice says, by the way, Frank, you've got a blue light on your face from time to time, which
I had a green light on my head the other day,
which makes you the Blue Frank.
Nice.
Yes. Let's see here. Let's see here. Anders says Twin Peaks gained steam because Philip Jeffries became a teapot.
I get
it. Twin Peaks Outside the City Limits says, would you consider doing this project in another format, an old style radio play?
Yeah, Frank? At the radio station where the Got a Light guy came in.
Yeah. No, I honestly can tell you that it would be a very big disappointment to have to translate this into another medium, and in fact,
into an audio drama.
And
as much as audio dramas are brilliant, by the way, I love audio drama.
Right, yeah. But audio dramas are created to be audio dramas.
Exactly. Yeah.
You don't take
and you create the visuals in your head. Yeah.
Right. You can't take Natural Born Killers and turn that into a radio play. A very visual film is a very visual film. It's
exactly. Yeah.
It's a visual medium, and that's how this thing was created.
Of course. Yeah.
Alice says, yes, extending the campaign would be a drainer. I get that. Yes. I agree. SBF says, yeah, it totally makes sense to just stick it to the whole campaign, for better or for worse. Let's see here. Reggie says, does Jake still Skype with David Lynch? Well, Reggie, obviously you didn't watch yesterday's video. He answers that question. So
It's often the case though, where you do a movie with someone, but you don't always stay in touch. You know what I mean? Once you've done it, you've done it. You know, it's
yeah.
actors move on. You know?
Let's see. SPF says, yeah, I can't tell how this is going to end. In a few days, we would be watching Cameron discuss plans for it, or we could be seeing a very saddened Cam. Or I just take a break from doing videos for a while too. So I don't think I would just come on sad and mopey. I think you would just see a
that
break.
would be the way. Yeah, you can't.
Yeah.
You can't. You know.
No, I think you would just see
just kind of like that.
a pause for a while. But yeah, you know, it's funny, Frank. I get messages from people saying I'm on pins and needles about this thing because I'm like, why are you on pins and needles? Like, well, we want this film to happen so bad. We keep checking Indiegogo like every hour. And I'm like, wow, you're checking it more than I am.
They're living the agony with you. See,
I think
it's like a phantom pregnancy type thing. Yeah.
To be honest, I think this whole channel, everybody who watches these videos, everybody who is engaged with, you know, the Twin Peaks discussion, I think we're all on pins and needles right now. I think we're all like
hooks without a doubt, because we're so close to the end of it now. That's the thing.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the fun of this too. Because remember, I said at the beginning, you know, that if the film got made, that, you know, I was going to take everybody through the whole journey of making the film. Well, this is part of the journey.
This is the drama. This is the drama itself, really.
You know,
this is a storyline in its own right, really. You know.
Right. This is part of the journey. The hardest thing in filmmaking, hardest thing in filmmaking is financing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Without a doubt. Yeah.
Without a doubt. This is the hardest part. But I don't know. I feel like it can happen. You know, so I'm staying super positive. Yeah, no, you will not see me just come on here and just be saddened and broken and stuff like that. I just will take a small break.
No, you don't want to be doing that. Yeah, you need to. You just take time out if you need to. Yeah,
yeah.
You know, if it comes to that,
exactly.
Hopefully, it won't have to. But
right. Yeah. Don't worry. You're not gonna, you know, see an article on Google that I threw myself out of a window or something.
Throw yourself off on that bridge or something.
Exactly. Throw myself off Glastonbury Grove. You know.
Sucked into the Black Lodge or something.
Let's see. SPF says, yeah, people want to see any Twin Peaks fan film. You know, they should be supporting this one because Cameron really knows the material and really has the passion. Thank you so much for that. Reggie says, has this been talked about on DUGPA? I have no idea. I'm not on DUGPA, but I don't think so because they tend to delete any mention of these videos on there. So, but anyway, let's see. SPF says, what's the biggest Twin Peaks podcast and are they friendly? Pug them. You mean frogmoth them? A lot of them have actually liked and retweeted stuff, so they've really helped me out that way. So, you know, thank you to all of them. But they don't record as often as I record, so even if they did do something, it probably wouldn't come out until after the campaign anyway. So, let's see here. Buster says Rebecca Del Rio singing at the Roadhouse looked a lot like Audrey to me. Well, it also helped that she was wearing a Black Lodge dress.
Yeah.
You know,
that's a lovely song, by the way.
It's a lovely. Can I be honest with you? I mean, listen, I love the song. I listen to it in the car. I listen to it in the car all the time. But I honestly think maybe going back, I'll think differently. But at the time when the episode aired, I thought it brought that whole episode to a stop. You know, because it was like we're into this episode. And then it cuts to a 7.5 minute song, and then I have to wait a week for another episode of Twin Peaks. Like, it just was like, come on, we don't need a 7.5 minute song. I wish that song had been used to, like, you know, underscore moments or something rather than a full on 7.5 minute performance. But now that you have the whole thing and you have the whole Blu-ray set, I probably wouldn't mind it so much because I just have the next episode to go to. I don't have to wait an entire week.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, so I just remember at the times talking with Hal about it, going 7.5 minutes. You know, but
what episode was that, Cam? I can't even remember now.
I can't even remember. Was it the one where the log lady died?
15?
Oh, did she die in 15?
She died in 15. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't remember. I'm sure George.
I really can't remember. I really can't remember now.
Yeah.
No.
But
the guys on here would know, but I just can't recall.
SBF says the dress felt a bit on the nose, but apparently was her choice, so they went with it. It was a bit on the nose, and it kind of upset me because I was like, "What is this?" George says no. Part 10 was Rebecca Del Rio.
Oh, it was part 10, right? Okay.
So I don't remember what happened like right before.
I cannot remember.
Yeah. SBF says, yeah, those music endings could be brutal when watching live, but they're totally fine when you can watch at your leisure.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Different flow.
No, I think they're great. Oh, it was Laura is the One. It was? Because I remember
Laura is the One. Yeah. Because the log lady was on that one, and she was on the following episode. There was 2.
Right.
But so there's Fire Where You Were Going. She did that one as well. Yeah. They were back-to-back episodes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, you know what? Because I remember screaming about that with Hal, but then I also remembered doing that podcast with Mandy, but that was the watch along with Mandy. We got in a lot of trouble with that one. We got a lot of thumbs down for that video.
Really?
Yeah. We were kind of complaining at the time, like, it's called Laura is the One. And it had nothing to do with Laura Palmer. You know, like
apart from the log lady saying it. She said that, didn't she?
Well, and apart from the attack of the 50-foot Laura outside David Lynch's door.
Oh yes. Yeah.
You know, so besides that, I was just kind of like I understand like a lot of the titles are kind of like throwaway titles, but when you specifically call it Laura is the One, we kind of expect a little something.
Yeah.
A little something, especially
we got it more in part 8, really, in a way, because she got created, you know, and all that kind of thing.
And you know, when you call it Laura is the One, and it's following the golden orb, you kind of expect something. You know?
Yeah.
I don't even look at the episode titles anymore. I don't care. You know.
Oh no, I realized they were only there just some sort of descriptive thing. They weren't really, you know, canonical.
But at least
I understand why they were there in a way.
But at least they were created by Lynch for the episodes. Whereas those ghastly titles they created for seasons 1 and 2, Lynch had nothing to do with that. And it always drives me nuts when I see people in the Twin Peaks community like go, well, it was in this Beyond Good and Evil episode of Twin Peaks. I'm like, no, it's episode 16 or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like, there were no titles.
No, it was just Twin Peaks.
Yeah,
episode
it was
1, 2, 3, whatever. Yeah,
exactly. Those episode titles were created for a German television company years and years later, even after the Bravo thing. So it's like, how did these titles stick? They probably stuck because iTunes used them and things like that. But those are not the legitimate titles for those episodes. It's supposed to be just episode 1, episode 2, episode 3.
Yeah.
You know, but I think I think iTunes doesn't want to just say Twin Peaks episode 1, episode 2, because they want a little flashier, you know, so they call it, you know, Rest in Peace or whatever.
I like them now as just a little taster, because you read into it, you think, what does that mean? What's that telling me about this episode? So it's just a little extra nugget of us.
But may the giant be with you. I mean, is this a comedy or what? I mean, it's like.
No, I mean the titles now. I'm talking about for season 3.
Oh, I thought you were talking about season 1 and 2.
No. The titles now got us thinking. You know.
Yeah.
It's not really giving away anything at all. You know, we don't know.
Right.
And sometimes it wrong-footed us anyway. It really didn't have a huge impact on the episode we were watching. It's just a line that's said somewhere randomly, but it gets you thinking. So it was just a nice extra little thing.
Sure, but and it would always come at like some random moment too, you know. It's
You never knew when, you didn't know what context, nothing like that, you know.
Right, but like the titles that station created for season 1 and 2, those are just complete jokes. Complete.
Rest in Pain, I think was one of them, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's
things like
ridiculous.
that. Yeah,
May the
yeah,
giant be with you. Come on,
yeah,
I'm done with it. No.
yeah, yeah. But I don't think about them. It doesn't matter. It's incidental, you know, because they never come up
Yeah.
on the actual box sets or anything. So, you
Yeah.
know.
Let's see. Oh, Mandy says, I think Del Rio's song plays right after the Log Lady's quote, which might maybe why you thought it was her death episode. Well, I just remember whenever I hear that song, I think of the outside of the cabin and the light going out. So I just, you
No,
know,
that was episode 15. That was
right.
definitely episode 15.
I know, but
Yeah,
every time that song comes across my stereo, I'm thinking it's
yeah.
that moment where the lights goes out, and that's but I'm like, was that really the ending of the episode? You know what though? If Rebecca Del Rio had followed the Log Lady's death, I probably wouldn't have complained about 7.5 minutes. Do you know what I
Because
mean?
it was a very sad song. It was a very peachy song as well. It had all of that vibe, you know. Yeah.
Right. So in a
Would have
way,
had one of the most- yeah.
maybe Lynch put her in the wrong episode or something like that because because it's like
Yeah.
if you're going through all that mournful and sadness and then you go into that beautiful song, it allows you to grieve and mourn with her, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you just call it Laura's the one, it's 52 minutes long, and 7.5 minutes of those 52 minutes is a Rebecca Del Rio song, you feel a little gypped
Yeah.
that night.
Was there a track, you guys will know, was there a track played at the end of episode 15, the Log Lady's last
Yeah.
episode? I can't remember what that track was. Can anyone tell us? I'm just curious what song would have followed that, if there was one.
George says after the Roadhouse scene after the Log Lady's death was the veils, and the electricity was perfect.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah, the girl singer, wasn't it, I think, in the Veils. Is that right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I thought it's not the one with Charlene Yee like screaming on the ground, right? That's not that one. I think it's like,
Yeah, oh, God, man, I get them mixed up a bit.
you know what?
Yeah.
It's okay because it all blends together. It's supposed to be one dang movie anyway,
Yeah,
right?
I know. Yeah, yeah. It's supposed to be, but yeah, we're seeing it in parts, so that's why it's difficult to know what followed what, you know.
Completely. But
I have to rewatch again.
this is good news. This is good news. We got another donation here. Blake here with $3 donation. So thank you, Blake.
Thank you, Blake.
For that.
Cheers.
Really appreciate that. George says, yeah, Charlene Yee was the one screaming on the ground. So was that episode. Wow. Like go from the Log Lady's death to the girl screaming on the ground.
Wow. So that had a lot of impact. Yeah, that's really bad.
That's super intense.
Mm.
All right. So right now we are at 240 backers. This is awesome. 49% of 25,000 raised. We're at $12,208, $392 away from hitting the 50% with about 4.5 days left. So we're inching closer, Frank. We're inching closer.
We are. We need you. We need you. We need you now more than ever, guys.
So let me just say this again. If the campaign does not meet its goal, you get your money back. So in a way, throw in what you can because it may just come right back to you anyway, you know, but at least it will climb the numbers up.
Yes.
And again, like if you throw out $400 right now, right, it will take us over 50%, but we're still nowhere near 25,000. So, I mean, there's a good chance you'll get your $400 back by Saturday. So, I just want to see these numbers climb and climb and climb. Maybe we'll encourage some others to come in and you know. So we need to pray to all the Laura orbs out there in the universe, you know, to come and protect us from the frog moths. And
that's it. We don't want a frog moth invasion.
No,
goodness and light. We want. That's what we want.
You know what's going to happen is that Carrie Page is going to show up at the 11th hour and scream, and the Indiegogo site will just explode, and we won't know the answer. So we have a lot of people on Twitter that are, you know, liking, retweeting, supporting.
Thank you so much, guys, for that. By the way, we do appreciate it very much.
Yeah.
I know Cam appreciates it an awful lot.
Believe me, I do. This isn't the only time online that I talk about this campaign and things. I'm constantly in touch with people who are, on these podcasts. And, this is, a discussion that we have behind the scenes as well. We just decide to do it on camera too. But these conversations, happen, on my lunch break today, talking to Frank in my car, so I mean, it's an all day, it's an all consuming thing.
Yes.
right now for me. I don't know what it is for Frank, but for me it is. And well, I know
it's 4 a.m. here, so
right,
pushing the boat out as well.
Yeah. So okay, so here's basically where we are. We're less than 300 away from hitting the 50%. We got 4.5 days left. We need to just keep the campaign going, keep tweeting, keep retweeting, start sending it out to, like, George, you know who I'm talking about. Start posting the link and tag everybody from Christian Harloff to John Schnepp to anybody else out there that is out there in the film blogosphere, and let's just start getting some retweets and likes, and let's get some sites, to, do an article or two. That would be amazing. We have less than a week left. I mean, we got to do everything we can so that we feel satisfied with ourselves, that, we can look at ourselves in the mirror and not see Bob, but be able to be like, I want to, you want to feel like you did everything, that we all did everything we could to make sure that this happens, So, all right, let's go back to the tweets. George says, not Christian Harloff, laugh out loud. I'm just using him as an example. So, like, don't tweet.
I don't know anything about these guys, so I can't comment.
No. I'm just using an example. What I'm saying is, don't tweet the main sites, because people don't see those. Those are just like, robotic things that just send out stories and things. You got to send it to the individual writers, journalists, podcasters, that type of thing, and video podcasters, that kind of thing. So you just kind of have to, start tagging everybody on this stuff. George says, yeah, I've been retweeting. You have definitely been doing that. Thank you for that. Let's see here. SBF says, flash forward a year and Cameron has been given direction of Twin Peaks season 4. Laugh out loud. That is not why I'm doing this. I am not doing this so that Showtime gives me season 4. Not at all. What I would love to do, if this was ever an option, would be to either, help in any of the writing, or at least kind of, be involved in some sort of story construction. And then, let Lynch go on his merry way and throw in as many Audrey and Charlie scenes as he wants. But no, I would love to be a part of the process. Who wouldn't? But
yeah, exactly. Who wouldn't?
Yeah, exactly. But no, this is a personal thing. This is something that I would just love to do. And again, so much support is out there, but we gotta take that support and turn it into some green.
Exactly. Yeah. That's right. That's the thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really, ultimately, that is the thing. The money.
And that is the thing with all films. It all comes down to, do you have the money?
Exactly.
I can't even talk to actors, agents, and stuff like that if they don't know there's financing. Do you know what I mean?
The first thing they're going to ask you is, how much are you paying them?
Yep. Exactly. So, yeah, that is another reason why I don't want to, try to extend this anymore. It's too much. You gotta just bite the bullet, baby. Bite the bullet. 45 plus 15 days or 20 days of prep beforehand. It's plenty of time if people are interested or not. And let's be honest here, there's been so many people tweeting and retweeting. It's gone out to so many people that either some people just aren't interested, or Twitter is just a joke and no one reads Twitter. That's also a thing. I don't think a lot of people read Twitter. So we may have to take this to other forums. We may need to take this to, again, I'm not on Reddit. So if any of you are on Reddit, go on there and shout this from the rooftops. And, if anything, maybe it won't start a huge conversation, but maybe it will, convince
Maybe
somebody.
some more tweets, maybe it will give it just awareness,
Right.
More awareness. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, I got a message today from somebody saying, I wasn't even aware of this, but now that I am, how could I not support this? And I thought that was completely lovely. So, there's a lot of people out there, even in the Twin Peaks community, who aren't on Facebook, who aren't on Twitter, maybe not even on YouTube, that, need to hear about this, because I think they would really, really, really love it. Because it's not insulting their beloved Twin Peaks. It's complimentary to it. So,
yeah.
All right, let's see. Buster says, hard to believe that with all the views that this channel gets, the $25,000 hasn't been raised. Someone has subscribed to a channel and watches all the time and doesn't donate. Wow, there should be at least 1,000 donors on your campaign by now.
Yeah.
Let's see. SBF 50 says, just pure curiosity would compel fans to want to see it. This is not a threat to the main series at all. Not at all.
Not by any means. No, of course not.
No. Let's see. Let's see here. Let's see. Ace Ventura says this would help display Cameron's talent. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. SBF says, hey, if Twin Peaks was ever given to someone other than Lynch, I'd freak out. But a fan film, that's a whole other thing. I don't know. I mean, I would freak out if it was like maybe certain people given the series. But I don't know. I mean, I love to see different points of view on things, So would I be entirely opposed to something in the Twin Peaks world that was not directed by David Lynch? If obviously if the person had the real passion for it and it wasn't just like, somebody who's been hopping around on different projects, like, the same cool geek chic kind of projects, that would bother me. But if it was like, somebody that, Lynch or Frost or whatever like that, like really, really loved, like Leslie Lincoln Glatter. I keep going back to her, but I think she did some of the greatest Twin Peaks episodes that Lynch didn't do. And she's Showtime's darling with directing Homeland. So I would be okay with her doing an episode or two of a new series,
Yeah.
Let's see here. Let's see. SBF continues, says, I'm really stubborn on the main series being Lynch's baby. The show is so rooted in his sensibilities. I just couldn't handle it. I'd just be afraid it'd come off as someone copying him at best. So, well, that's definitely something that could happen. So, but you just never know. You just never know. I mean, we almost got season 3 without Lynch, but I can't see how that would even been possible, because that script that they wrote was so written to be in David Lynch's style that another filmmaker could not have come in and done season 3 at all.
I don't think it was ever an issue, really.
No,
ultimately he was going to come back. I just think there was just a little period of tenseness, but they wanted Lynch. There's no doubt about it. They wanted him on board.
No, of course. But I'm saying is like, it's not like they wrote like a normal script that someone could come in and direct it. It was completely tailor made for Lynch's style, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, but, all right, guys, I'm going to, Kendi just says that she contributed. So I'm going to look.
Oh, great.
All right. Okay, I don't know if this is used by a different name, but I will throw this out there. They contributed $15 That's fantastic. Thank you, thank
Thank
you,
you.
thank you. Every little bit helps, guys. Every little bit helps.
Push us a bit nearer to that halfway mark. Yeah.
Completely. It just takes a second to do it. Okay, let's see. Oh, and we have another one too.
Oh, brilliant.
Oh yeah, here's Kendi. Uh, so $65 is by Kendi. Thank you, thank you,
Thank you,
thank you.
Candy.
That is amazing. And then let me go back to this one. It's Ludovic. Ludovic put $15 in.
Thank you, Ludovic.
So that's amazing. So yeah,
That's great. That's brilliant.
so that's
Thank
another
you.
$80. So let's see here. 200. We're $212 away
See, we're getting there. We're getting there.
from hitting the 50%. And the
Mhm.
funny thing about this, Frank, is that we've had more donations in this last 2 hours than it's gotten all day. So
Wow.
as I said before, do I really need to sit on this camera for the next 4.5 days and tell people to give me money? You're like, I want to be able to sleep. I want to be able to, watch a movie. I want to be able to relax a little bit and let people continue on, as opposed to me going, please help, please help, please help.
Yeah.
Because that in itself is exhausting, Um, but um, let's see here. Ace Ventura says Cameron knows exactly what to do. Not about everything, but some things, sure.
None of us know everything. That's for sure.
No. George says a lot of the cast probably wouldn't have come back for season 3 without David Lynch. That's probably true, but
that's a huge truth in that. Yeah.
there's a
Yeah.
huge truth in
Yeah.
that. But there's one person who could not have said no, and that is Kyle, because Kyle was under contract at that point and nobody else was.
That's right. Kyle was locked in. Was locked into it.
So
That's
Kyle
right.
was going to have to do whatever they wanted him to do. So Kyle was probably on the phone with David every day going, don't do this to me, man.
Please don't walk out. Come back.
Don't do this to me. They're going to put me in the Agent Cooper Murder, She Wrote mystery hour, and that's not going to be good. Let's see here. SBF says, I think Cameron would be good at putting moods and elements of the original show, which a lot of the fan base would really enjoy. Well, you have to be careful because you'd want to put in themes and moods, but not just simply to be nostalgic and do it where it's like you're just kind of masturbating the fans. You know what I mean? It's like you'd have to be just careful with what you do. But yeah, I think that there are elements of I'll tell you this. If I had been part of the story construction of season 3, I would have made sure somewhere, I don't care where, but somewhere, somebody would have said the name Wyndham Earl.
Yeah.
I just think he was way too important in season 2 to just not have a name drop. We got Chet Desmond dropped, right? A lot of people expected to have Wyndham Earl in that discussion as well, but obviously he was part of the Project Blue Book stuff. He wasn't part of the Blue Rose Task Force, although the Blue Rose Task Force wasn't even created until Fire Walk with Me anyway, so it wasn't even a thing during the original series. But I would have definitely listen. You got the bonsai tree. You have Wyndham Earl's briefcase in the dang thing. Someone would have said his name.
Mm.
Excuse me. SBF 50 says, do you guys think the return of Cooper, his arc in season 3, was written as a sort of analogy of Kyle and Lynch reconnecting after years of hiatus? Seems to be at least part of its influence on me. Maybe. But I'll tell you this, that when Kyle talks about Fire Walk with Me in interviews, he does say that Fire Walk with Me was way too dark, that he didn't like how dark it was, that he wanted to go back to the lightness of Twin Peaks, but David Lynch didn't want to do that. So he was kind of not really wanting to be a part of Fire Walk with Me. There were other reasons for it as well. Lara from Boyle, him being in the Doors, that type of thing made him want to be more of a Hollywood player. But I think that's why Dougie. Listen, if Kyle, I'm sorry, if David and Mark had gone to Kyle and said, "Here's what we wanted to do," Cooper gets out of the Black Lodge, and then he solves a murder mystery or something like that in Twin Peaks. I don't think, even as much as Kyle loves Twin Peaks now, I don't think he probably would have been excited by that. I think the invention of Dougie and I think the idea of him playing Mr. C is what excited him to come back. I really
Yeah,
do.
the richness of it and the fact he's in virtually all of it,
Well, but not
as
only
one
that,
character or
but,
another.
but he's
Yeah,
playing Cooper, but he's not playing Cooper. So
yeah,
he,
yeah.
he he gets to play Cooper for a few minutes in the series, but mostly it's Mr. C or Dougie, right?
Yes,
So in a way, he's able to revisit the material without having to do a carbon copy of himself from 25 years ago. He can approach it new because he's playing different characters.
yes.
And I think, and also, there's so much lightness in the Dougie scenes
Oh, yeah.
that gives Kyle the lightness that he always wanted to do within Fire Walk with Me.
And the complete contrast of that to Mr. C, you know,
Right.
there's two extremes.
But Mr. C, let's be really honest about it. All the horrible things that Mr. C does, right?
Yeah,
I mean, I know arm wrestling aside and blowing up Richard Horn on the Rock and all that kind of nonsense, right? All the bad things Mr. C's done has happened off screen.
yeah.
So Kyle doesn't
And
have
also, all the things that he's planning and doing, he's having others do it for him.
right. So
You know,
Kyle, even though he's playing this formidable bad guy, well, he doesn't have to play the assault scene with Audrey in the hospital because it happened years ago. So while there's darkness there, Kyle doesn't have to. He has to play a dark character, but he doesn't have to play the dark scenes. Yes, the Daria scene in the motel is great, but
oh yeah,
that's one like moment, you know what I mean? In
yeah,
an 18-hour thing. The
yeah.
entire series doesn't feel dark like Fire Walk with Me feels dark,
Mm.
you know? So I think the Dougie thing um, allowed Kyle to be like, hey, this allows me to be happy and, and do funny things. Like,
Yeah,
but he's, and it's brilliant.
comedy timing and everything.
Yeah, it's
You
brilliant.
know,
It's
things like
brilliant.
that.
Um, let's see here. Ace Ventura says, Cam's got this. I have complete faith in him. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Yeah, so there it is. Let me do one more check to see if there's any more.
Yeah, I hope so.
Let's see. Yeah, me too. Doesn't look like it. Buster says, anyone not wanting to work with Lynch on Fire Walk with Me was a mistake, in my opinion. Well, you have to understand at that point, the series is over. The series is canceled. Kyle has now been in some movies that are doing well. They're being recognized. He's being directed by Oliver Stone and things like that. And then you get a call saying, hey, come back and play this character you played on TV that got canceled in a movie. And also he's dating Lara Flynn Boyle, who he opts to not be a part of Fire Walk with Me. And then would go on Arsenio Hall and say that, because she came out with a movie the year before called Mobsters with Christian Slater, and she was very blatant, saying she will never do a movie with nudity, never do a movie with nudity. And so obviously Fire Walk with Me would include a scene with Donna and naked. So
Yeah, yeah.
and she didn't even want to be a part of Twin Peaks anyway. So there's that. Do I think it was a mistake? Sure, I think it was a mistake because I think Kyle should have done it just because David is the one who discovered him, And even after Dune, usually a lot of directors, if they have like a massive failure like that, would walk away from those actors and be like, okay, I'm done with you. I'm just going to move on. But no, he brought back Kyle for Blue Velvet. He brought back Everett McGill, for Twin Peaks. He brought back Dean Stockwell for Blue Velvet. So he kept people around. So
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I wish he had just done it just to do it. Would Fire Walk with Me have been better reviewed if Kyle had been in the first half of the movie? I don't know, maybe. But then again, people may have been ticked off that Cooper's out of the movie after a half hour. You know, who knows? I mean, there could have been other complaints.
Yes.
I mean, we don't know. We don't know. I mean, all we know is that Chet Desmond, which is CD, is the flip opposite of Dale Cooper, DC, and that Chet Desmond was only created because Kyle didn't want to do it. But but I'm glad we have Chet Desmond. You know what I mean? I like Chet Desmond.
Yeah. He made that character his own.
You know, the problem with it is that it then completely negated the autobiography of Dale Cooper because he's the one with Sam investigating Teresa Banks.
Yes, yeah.
But then, you know, the autobiography of Dale Cooper also already negated the series continuity by saying that Wyndham Earl happened 10 years ago, when the series makes it very clear it was 4 years ago. And much like Star Wars, I say that the TV show was canon, and the books and everything like that are, you know, if they fit, great, but if not, you know, then I go to the series canon for canon. You know, I don't go by the books for canon if it negates what the series already established.
Right.
Let's see here. Mandy says, I have always been confused with the Lara Flynn Boyle nudity thing because I'm pretty sure Lynch would have accommodated her. Remember the blurring he did for Laura Lena Harian in Mulholland Drive? The blurring he took off for the Criterion disc, by the way. But I don't know. I think at the time he wanted to really make it clear that Donna was doing stuff. I don't know. And also, I don't think anyone wanted to work with her anyway. So, but you know, I said it before and I'll say it again. I love that pink room scene. That being said, I would have easily would have been so happy if it wasn't like some random bar over the border of Canada and had been inside One Eye Jack's, and we would have seen Laura and Ronette get thrown out by Blackie. Even with that music pounding, like that would have just been amazing if that whole sequence had been transposed to One Eye Jack's, and instead of a throwaway line in a subtitle, I haven't seen you since I was thrown out of One Eye Jack's, we would have seen that. So I think that just would have been one of the most incredibly powerful moments ever, to see Laura and Ronette tossed out all during that pink room musics, you know? But that's woulda, coulda, shoulda. But, you know, that's why we discuss things on this show.
Sure.
All right, Frank, I'm going to do one more check and then we're going to go because we've been on here for 2 hours and I don't want to bore people too much with just random discussions and things.
Guys, please keep donating. Don't, as much as we love doing these videos, don't stop just when there's no video. Just keep donating to this. That would be really cool, you know.
It would be super cool. So let's just end with the tally where we are right now. So again, we're at 49%, 25,000 raised. We got 4.5 days left, 242 backers, $12,288 raised. We are $212 away from hitting 50%. $212.
Now, wouldn't it be great if you could, when we're off air, if you could make up that 200-300 more, so when we check again, we'll be smiling, so, you know, deep smiles. So you can still do that when we're off air. Yes.
It's not like this campaign is only live when we're on video. It's live 24 hours a day.
So please,
let's not let it go 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 hours without a donation. We'll never get to that finish line in 4.5 days. Let's keep, tweeting people, retweeting people, and let's just keep pushing it out there. Get it on Reddit, get it on the Twin Peaks pages, get people to write articles about it. Explain to them, say, listen, there's all these Twin Peaks actors, not even on just on the podcast, but they're, you know, supporting it, and you know, and it's already raised over $12,000, and we just need a little bit of help, a little bit of media push behind it, and we can get it done. And thank you guys for not only you know, supporting this campaign, but liking this channel and sharing the videos and all that stuff. It's super awesome of you. But yeah, I totally understand when you guys reach out to me and you say, I'm on pins and needles, I keep checking this thing all the time. So do I check this thing all the time, and I'm so glad that we're all kind of there, pins and needles together, because I certainly don't want to be alone in going through all this. This is partly why we do the videos. I mean, obviously we do the videos to have fun and discuss things and have great guests on and all that. But sometimes you gotta have to sit back and have just a frank and honest discussion about where we are and what's going on and what, you know, what we need. And what I need is your help and your support more than ever. We got 4.5 days left. If you really want to see this movie as much as you guys say you do, just contact everybody you know who's a David Lynch or Twin Peaks fan and just say, listen, do you have a buck? Can I, you know, throw it in there? You're going to get it back if it doesn't hit it. But I think collectively we can really make this happen. So I want to just thank you all again from the bottom of my heart for every kind thing you guys have ever shown me in this channel. I really appreciate it. So Frank, where can people find you on the internet?
It's Live from the Roadhouse podcasts on YouTube.
Definitely. Make sure to subscribe to that channel, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, guys. Well, there you have it. Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful day. Keep your fingers crossed. Like I said, just keep getting the message out there. Thank you again for all your support. Really appreciate it. And we will see you soon. Take it easy. Bye.
Thanks a lot, guys.